Hello, folks. Ready for another edition of the Mikey Show. This is one that I'm doing off the cuff. I was going to make a video today. I really don't feel like making a video and editing and doing all the crap that it takes to make something all pretty and beautiful. So I might just do them like this from now on, just do them off the cuff when I feel like making videos. What I am going to do, and if you guys, I don't expect anybody to show up for these because I'm just making them unannounced. But if people do show up and they want to say anything, feel free to join or ask, join in. What I'm doing this video about, one of my clients sent me a link a couple minutes ago, and it was. I am going to share my screen here, and let's see, go right here, okay, and do the share. You guys can see. Let's see. Okay, cool. You guys can see this right here. Look at this. Borresson 05 Silver Supreme Edition loudspeakers, free shipping worldwide. This is a $214,000 speaker that is selling for $86,500. Basically meaning Borresson has shit for resale value in the used market, and people have no respect for the brand because they don't even try and keep the image good for the brand. They just hoard them out. This is a typical sad story of a brand that is being hoarded out. This is a hoard piece of equipment right now, for lack of a better term. But that is what it says. So condition 9 out of 10, barely finished burn-in, 500 hours with random music. So it's like, it's nothing. It's basically new. It's not used. They've just got them sitting there and they want to get rid of them. They're in the dealer's showroom. They can't move them. So they're dropping trow big time on the price just to get them the hell off their damn floor, because they have zero respect for the brand and they feel that they're not worth shit. So they mark them down, 60% off or something like that. Let's see if we go back and we go, let's see, here's another one. I don't know if this is the same seller. Nope, it's not. This is 24,500. Let's see, what does it tell us? The retail retail price is 43.5. So it's half price. So these are selling half price. I don't know too much. All I know is that it looks like this brand is not worth crap on the used market. This one's even crazier. Less than 10 hours of use. Well, why is it being sold here? Why is it less than 10 hours of use and then it's being sold on the used Audio Gone Whorehouse by high-end broker? Because nobody wants them, because they need to try and get rid of them. They're stuck with them. They're marking them down to half off, and then they're putting them on. Somebody doesn't want these brands. Try and find Fisher and Fisher used. Even find them used. You won't. And then see if you can find them, if they're used, what they're selling for. What are these? Various models, demo opportunity, 12-month interest-free, Bitcoin now accepted. Talk about a desperate seller. Okay, look at this. Demo opportunity, just basically saying, I don't know what that means. It could mean that you get to listen to them and return them if you don't want them. It also could mean that he's making discounts because he's selling demo stuff. 12 months interest-free financing. What the hell, dude? I would never recommend that anybody finance freaking speakers. It's ridiculous. If you can't afford the speakers, don't buy them, but don't finance them. It's ridiculous. Bitcoin now accepted, whatever. He's trying to take whatever he can to get them. Look at this. New retail price. This is a dealer. And not only that, but this is an authorized dealer. And he's selling the new retail price, 214. He's basically selling them half off. Just because they've been out of the box and on the floor, they're still going to get the same exact warranty. So the Borressons aren't worth shit, is what I'm coming to believe here. I think people have realized the bass is not up to par on these things, and maybe they've been overhyped. Um, they very well could have. I think they're cool looking. They're cool builds. I like the guys from the company, but that doesn't preclude me from sharing my honest feelings about something on my channel. And so that's what my opinion is that these speakers are not all they're cracked up to be. I've got customers that are trying to get out of them, and I won't take them. If you try and trade me a Borresson, I'm not taking it. Here's another one. Oh, that's sold. I don't know why it's up there. But anyways, so I wanted to take a quick second and just talk about that. Um, and now I'm gonna go look because it looks like I've got a quick 55 people that just jumped on. So maybe I'll start doing this as my normal way. I kind of like this method because I get feedback. I get to talk with you guys. I get to talk about what I want to talk about. Like I could have made a video about this, but we wouldn't have really gotten the real time feedback, which is kind of I like the engagement. So we may do this. Rob says he's in from Canada. Welcome, Rob. Mr. OCD, what's up? Teo, good to see you. Alan Watson, Big Daddy off the cuff. I'm good with it. Right on, Alan. Thanks, brother. Dragnet Sound Canada here too. Sweet. The Great White North, man. Hey, Mikey and Tribe, what's up, Wes? Wes, I was wondering about you yesterday. Call me, man. Let's talk tomorrow. I want to speak to you if you don't mind tomorrow. So holler. Byron, hey Mike, curious about the Borresson X3. I hear good things. I don't know. Are those the ones that are 11 grand? They're pretty cool for 11 grand, but you know, it all depends on what you're after. I don't know that Borresson has staying power. They sound good, you know, right up front because they're like, oh, they're shiny. In other words, it has a sound that attracts you right away. But that may not have staying power. I don't know, but they demo well. But I know Wilson's demo well. A lot of speakers, if you set them up right, they will demo well for people coming into stores. But if you're at home and you listen to them for any extended period of time, they become fatiguing. So there's that whole thing. So I don't know. I've never lived with Borresson, so I have no idea. All I can go off is my clients' feedback. I'm going to take this off. Boredom sucks. Yes, it does. Thanks for joining. Oh, Borresson sucks. Okay. Okay, so he doesn't like it. That is a beating. Seems like lots of high-end stuff is not selling these days. You don't see many Playback Designs gear on the used market selling for cheap. Well, Playback Designs is never on the used market because people keep it. They don't sell it. And that's, you know, that is a really, it's a great way to, if you're considering something, you know, like if what I do, like, let's say I find something that I want, yeah, I don't know, motorcycle we'll take, for instance, or a watch or something like that, some piece of thing that I wish to acquire. I will look on the used market and see what they're selling for. Is there a lot on the used market? If there is a lot on the used market, it means people don't want it. You know, it's like, oh, you might like a Rolex Explorer 2, and then you look on the market, there's a million of them because everybody's trying to get out of them, right? So it kind of gives you a little insight, and then you can see, are they selling for nothing? Is there any value on the used market? Which just tells you, is there any desire for the product? And if there's no desire for the product and there's a bunch of it out there, it's not usually a good sign. So you won't find Fisher, you won't find Playback, you won't find many of the bespoke. High-end stuff is selling for me every single day. So maybe it's not selling for other people, but it is selling for me. That's why I haven't been making videos, and I have to do quick videos like this because I am busy with my clients every single day, building audio systems for them. So I really don't know. Chuck, are you a dealer? Or are you just saying why do you think things are not selling? What gives you that idea? Somebody's wife doesn't like the lean back look. I think it's more like a dealer is trying to either get out of the brand because it's at a dealer. So the dealer is trying to get out of the brand, or the dealer has no respect for the brand. Most likely he wants to get out of it because something like that much of a discount is kind of like, you risk losing your dealership, right? And if you don't care about losing your dealership, it means you want to get out of the brand. That's sometimes what's happening. Um, Tell us what you really think, Mike. Yeah, don't worry. You will get that here. I thought Borresson didn't sound bad at the show, but way too expensive. The thing about the shows are, unless you spend an hour or more, right, in the room, what will give a good demo does not give good long listening sessions necessarily. You can tell when you sit somewhere. I can, because I've been trained to do this over years and years, is I can tell if I'm going to be able to listen to something for a long time, or if it's just going to be a good 10-minute demo. Some people buy audio systems just so they can demo for people that come over for company, and they just want to do a quick 10-minute demo anyways, and that's all they care about. Well, then that's fine, but just know what the gear is that you're getting into. What's up, Tribe? What's up, Gleam? I will call tomorrow. Cool, Wes. It's about my brother. Yeah, the 11K ones. Yeah, I heard them at the show. I've heard them at one dealer's place. They are impressive for a demo. That's all I know. They're impressive for a demo. I have no idea if there's any realistic bass with them, which seems to be people's problem with Borresson, is shitty bass. And I just don't know how they are over time. For 11K, I can sell you a Fisher & Fisher made out of stone, out of 100% slate, that I think will do better than whatever the X3 is. Talking about staying power, I still have a pair of Kef Reference 1042s, and they're still some of the best speakers I've ever owned. Awesome. Glad you're happy. Borressons actually have better than average resale value, considering no one pays retail for them to begin with. Well, that's an interesting thought. So what does that tell us about the brand? If nobody pays retail for them to begin with, then it's a fake priced brand, which tells you about the company and the structure of how they price things. It tells you that they're hustlers, in my opinion. If nobody pays retail for something, that's a hustle price. Then that means dealers are dropping the price in order to cause a impulsive buy. Okay, so for that guy, $214,000 speakers, isn't that what it said? Something like that, if I'm remembering correctly, 214,000. Okay, let's say the dealer gave him 30% off. Okay, he paid $149. The dealer, $149,800. So the dealer gives him 30 points off, so that the guy makes an impulse buy for $149 for a pair of $214,000 speakers, and then they're being sold for $89,000. Is that about what it was? You could probably get them for $85, but we'll just say it's $89. So potentially the buyer has a loss of $60,000 on the deal. If it was sold to somebody and then he turned them back in and the dealer's selling them for him, he took a $60,000 loss. And it looks like he said there was less than 100 hours on them. So somebody took a really bad $60,000 loss in a very short amount of time. It's just a shitty deal all the way around. Borresson has no bass. It's a treble machine. Okay, Lou, how do you know that? Tell us. Hey, Mikey, what the hell day is it? It is, what is it? It's Monday night. I don't normally do live streams. And in fact, I'm just going to do videos when I friggin' feel like it, okay? I'm not going to do the pre-planned, pre-scripted, write it out, pan the camera in, put the little intro thing, advertisement in, and get sponsors and do all that thing, okay? You guys get enough of that. I figure you come to me for the straight dope and or the real McCoy. And so I'm just going to run with that. It's easier for me to do videos like this than to sit. I don't have enough time to do my edited little feature video things that people seem to gobble up. Hopefully, people will value the content of my videos rather than the aesthetic of my videos. So I think I'm just going to roll with this. So this can happen. It may happen every day. It may happen every other day. It just, when I feel like doing a video, I'll come on here and talk with you guys. I heard the X3 at a dealer. The bass around 80 hertz region was way overemphasized. Seems like they were going for impact bass thump. Totally. 80 hertz is a hit. 80 to 100 is like kick drum hit. Great for techno music, which is what they always play. Duh, 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 duh. You can get that real good. But tonally low, deep stuff is with long notes. It's a little different. But maybe they boost the 80 hertz to give it that thump, that bump, and then they use techno music. I have no idea. What's your opinion of Joseph Audio? Great speakers, man. That guy knows how to design a speaker. There's not anytime I've ever gone to his room, it sounded great. So Joseph Audio is a thumbs up for me. Lou V44, obviously you haven't heard many, if any, Borressons. Well, we'll find out. Opinions on Philharmonic or Ascend acoustic speakers. Never even heard of either one of those brands. I heard a few models at shows, felt they were very treble heavy, not a brand I would purchase. Okay. Just sold my Vandersteens. Bring on the 570s. There you go, buddy. Glad you sold them so quick. That was good, man. They're coming in. Are there any tube amps you would recommend for under 5K? Where is that one? No, that one went out to do I have one? Where's that? Trying to think if I've got one. I had some Nat Audio integrateds that were trade-ins that I could have sold you for under 5K that are screaming value. Let's see. I sold my M80 monoblocks. What do I have? Tube amps under 5K. No, I've got. I've got something that I would sell for like 5,500, which would be 300 watt tube monoblocks made by Virastar. If you're serious, call me up, and that'll be the most retarded tube power that you could get for 5,500 bucks. So you'd have to find a little more cash, but just holler. Mikey, love this session. Biz is good. Yes, it is, Sean. I hope it is for you too. What's your take on Martin speakers? Really sweet, man. I don't know how much they cost. I think they might cost an arm and a leg. But those things are beautiful, man. They're like yacht construction, yacht level. Just gorgeous. And they sound great. I like Martins. Go live to the music room. Miss that place. I know I will. It's coming back, man. I was in there working today. Hey, Nick. Hey, Tribe. What's up, Nikki? Just a thought, maybe you could put together on your website under a complete system, a system that sounds good with all recordings that don't run a person out of the room with what you sell. Okay, so Chuck, for your reference and for the record, for everybody who's listening right now, 98 people, what you just described is all of my systems. Every single system that I put together, I don't put together analytical systems. When you come and buy from Mikey, you come and buy sound that I think is the best sound. And you just described what I think is the best sound. 90% of the other dealers will sell you analytical, hi-fi sounding stuff. I'm not one of those. So I've said this before, when you come to me to buy, it's like you're coming to a restaurant, and the reason you're going there is for that chef. And you get a prefix menu. Like when you go to the top Michelin rated restaurants, you don't have a choice as to what they will just lay stuff down for you, and you pay whatever flat fee, and you get 7 courses and 7 wines or whatever. It's very similar to that with me. I will recommend for you. I will find what fits your situation properly, because I don't oversell people, and then I will guarantee you the results. And then I will hold your hand through the whole thing. And I don't mean that in like a weakness way, like you need your hand held, but more so like I won't leave you in the lurch. I won't leave you high and dry. I always make sure that my clients get exactly what they want. And if they're not happy with what I recommend, they get all their money back and no restock fee. It's just how I do things. I can't leave people unhappy. So people are always happy when they deal with me, regardless. Any system that you see on 11 Stereo will have that. And you just need to contact me and I can recommend for your listening habits, your room, how you listen, what the room's like. I can recommend a complete system for you and your budget. Is there any one company where you like their speakers, amplifiers, and DAC? Sometimes I like MBL, complete MBL rigs. It depends, man, on those speakers. Those speakers really, when they're set up properly in the right room, they sound really phenomenal. So I could say MBL. You're asking me. I assume what you're asking me is there any one soup to nuts? The companies that do everything, that have the whole deal. Daniel Hertz by Mark Levinson's newest brand. Daniel Hertz. I love the whole thing all together. When I listen to Mark's rigs that he puts together, they sound phenomenal. I think Burmester is probably a little too hi-fi if I remember them correctly. I haven't heard an all Burmester rig in a while. And I can't remember if Burmester makes speakers or not. There's very few companies that make everything. Mike, my opinion on monitor audio. I don't know much about monitor audio. But if I'm not mistaken, it's British, and so I don't give it much credence. I doesn't mean they can't be good. I think they're probably a little bit more on the analytical side. I've talked to some people that have the big monitor audios because you can get them at pretty low price, you know. In other words, you get a lot of driver count for the dollar, which is really not a way to buy speakers in my recommendation. But I think they can work good for people. I just don't know too much about them. I've never been attracted to them. Um, the types of stores that I see them at and things like that. It's like a high volume speaker, right? I prefer bespoke builds, and that's what I sell. I sell things that are harder to get than monitor audio. Monitor audio you can get anywhere. You can get it tomorrow if you want it, right? You just drive in the car. I could go get monitor audio within 10 minutes of my house, and I could have monitors in. I could go pick them up and have them. My stuff is not that easy to get. Um, the stuff that's that easy to get is stuff that's mass produced. Okay. This is a whole nother, I'm gonna make a whole nother video about that. So I'll just drop it right there. Do I recommend having streamer DAC as separates? If you can, yes. It's very convenient to have them together. But if you can have them separate, it is good. I was listening to your live chat, a couple live chats back. That's for your explanation. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah, everything that I sell is musical and organic sounding. That's the type of sound that I like. I know you said Totem speakers went lifestyle, but would you consider their older two-channel stuff good? Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Tribe, how's it hanging? Oh, a little bit to the left. How about you? Mikey, yo, talking about the Flash D with the tube, I put amp of yours. You actually showed it and played it for a minute. It sounded absolutely killer. Oh, Class D with the tube. Yeah, absolutely killer from YouTube, maybe. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. I do have it's not a tube amp. It's a tube front end. It's a hybrid. A tube front end with a Class D output stage. I think there's like, PS Audio is doing that now. Like, it's one of their leading things. I think if I'm not mistaken. Behind the curve. I did this 8 years ago or something like that. I did it when I was still at CES, when I was still going to CES. So that was a while back. It sounds killer. And of course, depending what tube you put in, it can sound killer. And I would sell that. I want to keep it for the museum because it's really a kind of a collectible Veristar piece. Dual mono 500 watt, dual power cord, dual power supply. I'd sell it for $3,000. Just holler. Yes. FU spell check. I know it was kind of whacked. Have you turned cold on Tad? Haven't heard you mention them in a while. Um, no, not at all. I like Tad, but I don't lead with Tad. I lead with Fisher and Fisher because it's a stronger value. For me, Mikey, the way that I sell, having value as a component of what I pitch is very important to me. So I don't lead with brands that I really like, but that don't have any value in their je ne sais quoi, if you will, right? Tad is not pitching value. They're not trying to do anything value oriented. Um, they're just trying to make something badass and it's a premium price. I think for the same amount of money, I can get a Fisher and Fisher that will walk all over the Tad equivalent at that same price. Will it be the same beautiful fit and finish wood veneer? No, but it will be natural stone. Take your pick, natural wood or natural stone. It's just a personal preference. I'm sure the corners are on the stone. The only way you can make the corners really work well, at least with slate, is you bevel them. So it's a bevel cut. The lines on the speaker are very kind of straight, whereas on Tad, it's very contoured. So if you want something contoured, Tad, may be, aesthetically, if something looks better, Tad may look more organic to you and not so not so such straight lines on it. But in terms of value, so I lead with the stuff that is the most value oriented. Even the playback designs at 26,000 for the DAC is a total value when we compare it against the DCS and the MSB. We get as good or better. And what's the other one? Nagra. We get better results, in my opinion, from the playback designs, and it's much less cost, half the price. Tube input. Yes, we're clear on that. That is right. I don't know, man. I've been finding these deals on a lot more stuff lately. I think inflation is starting to creep into all corners, even niche hobbies like ours. Well, yeah, inflation is totally into our hobby. I mean, look at the newest DAX by MSB and DCS are over $200,000. We've never seen anything like that. It's, in my opinion, absolutely ridiculous. It's not that crazy of a thing to decode digital music. Playback Designs does it in a world-class level way for 26 grand, but the top of the market's 276, the one that I just listened to. So yeah, inflation has definitely hit square dead nuts in the middle. Now, I will say that I think the prices going up are people knowing that they are thinking they can get away with it. I prefer to find the brands that are smaller brands, bespoke, that are still in the Goldilocks zone where they haven't gone crazy with the prices. Hence the $26,000 deck. Hence, $30,000 speakers from Fisher and Fisher that will kill any $60,000 speaker that's made out of MDF. I find brands and I bring them to you. If you stick with me, kid, you're going to be all right. Okay. Go to 11 Stereo and look at the brands that I bring in. I hunt these brands down. I don't mark them up 3 times like some distributors do. As you may or may not understand, as the U.S. importer for certain brands like Fisher and Fisher, Nat Audio, Audio Analog, I can set the price whatever I want to for the United States market. So I can double it, I can triple it, I can do whatever I want. I keep it at a price that I feel is fair and has integrity, and will give us an advantage in the marketplace, give us an edge. And those are the brands that I carry. So the things that I sell are still selling every day at full price, and nobody's trying to lowball me. And so there's no money problems as far as I can see it. I don't know. That's just my experience with it. Burmester makes speakers. Okay, cool. So I did hear full Burmester. Burmester definitely makes sweet sounding speakers. Okay, cool. They cost a shit ton, of course. Of course they do. It's because it's exclusive. When you listen to that ultra high end 700,000 Wilson system that didn't sound analytical. Did you find out what they did differently? Sure, they tuned the tweeters back. They padded them with a resistor. You were very pleased with the sound. I was, but I knew what the shortcoming was. They had they need to back off the value of the resistor just a little bit. They need to let a little bit more tweeter through than whatever number of resistor that's on that tweeter, because they overdid softening it. It's still very enjoyable, but I felt it was slightly overdone, so you didn't get that sizzle on the cymbal, that shimmer that is makes something seem really present and right there. The mid range on that system was amazing, and the realism was extremely good for not having that leading edge. But they took off the leading edge ever so slightly in their zeal to tame the tweeter. I would pull that value back a little bit, and I think it could be dialed into where I would love it. I was amazed by it, but I wasn't. What was it? $1.2 million. It just, at that kind of price, it's unrealistic to even consider it. I would much rather somebody show me $100,000 system and what they can do with 100 or 150, and that's what I do. I'll show you something for 100. Actually, my new rig will be 250, but that will be complete balls out ultra reference. I won't go any higher than that. I don't think, unless I get a clientele base that starts demanding it. But I just don't really want to do that. A company that does all in-house. It's audio note. There you go. Audio note. UK, down to the soldering components, and it's great stuff. Yeah, good point. So that is a brand that I've heard everything, the DAC all the way through, that was sounded great, was Audio Note UK. Opinions on Vienna acoustic speakers. Great speakers. Great speakers. A little on the dark side sounding. So it is good to offset forward sounding gear. But very well made, and I think they're pretty good value still. On the secondhand market, they can be an insane value. I sold my Klimt D Music, Klimt D Music, right? The music, the top of the lines, for 10 grand. They're $40,000 speakers, but I took them in on trade, and the guy gave me a low price, and so I sold them to one of my guys for 10 grand, and he's beside himself. He loves them so much. Why don't you like British speakers? Are they not musical? They're too musical, and too soft and euphonic. And I like things that are that have slam and punch and dynamic, and those are that so American stuff, Danish stuff, German stuff, the things that you can crank loud and really, get some slam. But I don't know, British is, it's just not my thing, man. I don't like that sound. Hanging a slanging. Yes, you know that. Thoughts on tube buffers? It can be fun. It's just a toy. It's just something to throw in there to totally introduce distortion into your signal chain, and if you like to fatten up it up by putting fuzzy, tube sound in there, tube distortions, then go for it. I made one. I've got it in my closet. I made one many years ago, a tube buffer stage for home theater, so that you could, and it was a 6-channel because it was 6.1 at the time. So you'd go 6 channels out of your home theater processor into my buffer, and then out of the buffer to the amps. But yeah, I hence lost any desire to be involved with home theater at all. Why do tube amps say 60 watt RMS? Tend to drive speakers as easy as 300 watt RMS because they have higher current, and it has to do with the how the oh man, there's going to be better explanation. I know they're more of a current device. I don't have the exact, an engineer could tell you. There is something to do with I want to say output impedance, but I don't think that's it. There's something to do with the way tubes work that just make them stronger. I mean, you can basically say tubes, the rule of thumb is tube amps are A 60-watt tube amp is 120-watt solid state amp. Yep, PS Audio makes Class D monoblocks with the tube in the input. Yeah, it's old hat. Also in their BHK Class AB flagship of theirs. Pretty crazy to make a flagship hybrid. Um, which brand of room treatment do you recommend? ASC Tube Traps, Audio Science Corporation out of California. Mikey, when can we expect to see your killer rig up and dialed in? Another 30 days in the new year. Have to get through the holiday. I've got traveling to do before then. In one sitting, I listened to X3s and they were good. Then Sonus Faber, then Wilson Sasha V5s, and new WWPs. The X3s sounded not so good anymore. Yep. I mean, you wouldn't be the first one. They when you hear them the first time, they're impressive when you listen to them right there. There's something about the immediate response that is impressive. And usually they're playing dance music or something that showcases what that speaker does well. What about Lampezator? I have never heard their DAC. Okay, so Lampezator is they're friends of mine. I really like the guys. My Lampezator, I don't really want tubes in my DAC. There are very few companies that have tubes in the DAC. There's a couple that I know of that where I like it. But when there's too many tubes and too much going on, it cannot be as it cannot have the same transient response as a solid state. That's starting and stopping quickness. Tube is more of a flowy thing. And typically, even though some tube DACs can sound very good, I see it as a way to tame a harsh DAC. So typically, the DAC section in a tube DAC may not be that elaborate. And then they're trying to fix it on the ass end with a tube. This is the way I see it, okay? How my opinion and my vision of how I see it. I happen to know that Lampezator does not make their DAC. They farm it out. They buy the module, the converter from somebody else. They put it into their box, and then they create the analog output section. The analog output section is, that's why they call it a DAC engine. Nobody else calls anything a DAC engine except Lampezator. DAC engine, it's a way of just blowing off the whole DAC thing and just putting it into one word that you just don't ask any questions about it. DAC engine. We upgraded the DAC engine. They don't have to say anything. So to me, Lampezator is a tube output section company. So they could make great tube outputs. That's what Lucas did. He put tube outputs on modified stuff. He was a modifier. Lucas came from DIY and from modding stuff, modding other equipment. And that's how he learned his chops and earned his respect in the marketplace. Then they went into creating DACs, and they became a fad because they're the only DACs that use the big output tubes. Okay. So that gave them an advantage. Nobody else wants to do it. Okay. Maybe SW1X. Maybe I don't even think Aries Surratt doesn't do a tube DAC. SW1X, Nuontech uses a tube rectifier, but nobody uses big 300Bs. So it gained popularity. A 300B is a visually stunning tube. It's very recognizable. So to have a big copper chassis DAC like they had the Golden Gate, and to put these big 300Bs, 300Bs in there with a 5U4G rectifier sticking up, it was impressive looking. And that will get people interested. And then they think they've got something fabulous. And maybe they really did when they were $18,000. The latest DAC from Lampezator is, again, a tube output DAC. And it is $60,000. I will submit that a Playback Designs will sound better for $24,000 and do a better job, measure better, which really doesn't matter. So we can throw that out, but it will sound better. It'll sound cleaner in my opinion, and more real sounding. I would say a Lampezator might sound more seductive sounding because it has that tube glow thing to it. I sort of got a little bummed out when I saw Lampesator go to a $60,000 DAC. What they're doing is doing what every other company does, which is when they start to get demand, they just go up, up, up. I guess it's the law of demand. What is it? Supply and demand or something like that. But I just don't like it when I see them go into the trophy audio thing. Then it becomes this badge that people wear, like, it's like having a Rolex and showing it to people, like having holding your wine glass with your gold Rolex and holding it up in this very precarious way. You're always holding your arm up at the party with your fucking Rolex on. It's like, dude, we see your watch. It's not that fucking great. Okay. So to me, that's a trophy piece. That's a show off piece. It's an ego thing. It's weird. It gets into weird shit with surfacey. I don't want to go this far. I don't want to say it's character, because people may have good character and still like to show shit off, right? Maybe I can relate in a couple ways. I just don't like flashy shit. Anyways, so Lampesator, when they went to $60,000 deck, I saw that as them joining the group of trophy audio brands. Like they're trying to follow what the other brands do, which means, I don't know, maybe they'll be making $250,000 DACs like DCS is now. But it just, companies go from being cool and making products that are of value, and you're like, cool, they're making cool shit. It's got vacuum tubes. It's only 18 grand or it's 12 grand, and I'm getting a lot for my money, and then they go to selling you something where you don't get a lot for your money, where you're overpaying. To me, $60,000 for a Lampesator DAC, to me, is overpaying. And, it's not a slight to the people, man. It's like, it's hard for me to see people I love in brands that I used to use. I had a Golden Gate, go into that realm of trophy. It's just like, oh, bummer, man. Another one bites the dust. That's how I look at it. I'm like, another one bites the dust. And that's how I look at Lampy, man. I love the guys. I love Lucas. Cool stuff, cool ideas, but they followed, and I'm trying to cut back on using words like this because people get offended, but they followed the douchebags. Okay. They followed the douchebags that overpriced their shit. And I'm like, God damn it. Now they're with the douchebags, the arrogant pricks, the guys that just think they're fucking holier than thou with their goddamn audio systems and their freaking cars and their shit and all their shit. And they have this attitude. It's just gross to me. It's like, and that's what I see. The brands, people that are, it's just a different buyer for the trophy stuff. So I see, it's like, there they go. Bye-bye, guys. They're loving it. You talk to them and they're like, fuck, we're selling $60,000 DACs like gangbusters. Well, of course, they're selling $30,000 DAC like gangbusters because their dealers are marking them up, or maybe 40 or whatever. But, they're loving it because they're making money hand over fist. Lucas has got pictures on yachts going across the Caribbean on grand, big, beautiful vacations and all this shit. And cool, that's great. Good for him. He's living the dream, and all that kind of stuff. But to turn into that hobnob douchery, which is what I see the ultra high end in many ways, I would love to see it in not those type, not without those type of glasses on or whatever, those type of colored shades, if you will. But I just can't help it, man. $270,000 DACs. You're excluding people by doing that. You're making the brand into an elitist thing that excludes people. Now, sure, DCS makes stuff, I think, all the way down. Maybe the MSB does too. Maybe they make it down to 10 grand. I don't follow these brands, so I don't know. But I just don't think it leads to anywhere good when people keep going up and up, higher and higher priced. So, and Lampesator is a great success story. They don't even make DACs. They buy boards. It used to be Socris boards. I could go on and buy a board exactly like was in the Lampesator. I could buy it for myself and hook up a power supply, hook up an output section, but I could buy the converter thing from Socris for like whatever, 500 or $600. And that was what was in their Golden Gate at the time. I mean, you could see what it is, and it was hand wired in. It was cool, because it was it was not point to point, but all the PC boards were hand soldered and all that kind of stuff for whatever that's worth. But to see them go into the stratosphere was it was sore. It was a little sore for me. Do I still think the Platinum LRS upgrades you created? I didn't create anything called Platinum. Oh, those things. Yeah, okay. Are the best bargain and high five for the price. Absolutely, dude. I mean, what was it? 4,000. I mean, all in, you're $5,000 plus the thing, maybe $6,000 all in. Retarded. I just have to free up some of my other. I'm too busy right now. I'm bringing a team on. I've got a team of 5 professionals, and we just added one today. And before long, you will see 11 Stereo turn into a real business, and you will see the High Fry Tribe, meaning it's a real business now, but I mean like one that can scale. Right now, I'm maxed out. I'm selling as much as I can sell. I've got business moguls, investors, and very smart people that have come together to help me build this vision that I have. And so part of that will be that we will make those and offer them. But right now, it's too much on my plate I will hire somebody to handle all the manufacturing projects that we do for the tribe. But right now, I can't do it. So they're coming. Inflation affect all of the economy, raw materials, etc. Yeah, but that's bullshit. You understand? It's created, right? Okay, let's take lumber or wood, for instance. That has gone up. Do we have less trees than we had 5 years ago? No, we don't. We probably have more because of the tree farms. Okay, so what they did was when COVID came, everybody used it as a bullshit excuse to jack the raw material prices up for shit, because China went offline. So then, oh my God, we got to start doing stuff here. Oh my God, well, look what we can. People are really desperate because we don't quite have the supply. Well, people are so, the supply is so short, it's not costing us anymore. But because it's in such high demand, we could quadruple the price of our lumber and people will still buy it, which is what they happened. So it was a cash grab by greedy corporations to make more money. The raw materials have not gone up. The slate in the ground is the same price as it ever's been. It's not, the slate doesn't go up in price. They're pulling it out using the same equipment and the same water jets and all that kind of stuff. So, but certain companies will have inflated shit, and other companies are still like have integrity, and they don't try and throttle people. So, those are the ones that I like. Nathan says, you're terrific. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate it, man. The idea of $200,000 amps is completely asinine. I'll put a word in to me. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't buy it almost out of spite. I'd look for someone like you. Absolutely, brother. That's exactly what, but when you get into the high, look, dude, I just came from Bal Harbor. Okay. It's like rich Jewish area in Miami, and Miami has gone crazy. There's Russian oligarch money there. There's drug dealer money there. There's so much money in Miami. And you see this whole facade of posers, man. Yes, they may be rich, but what they're posing is that they're cool. And they're totally fucking douchebags. They're not cool. They're not friendly people. They're mean, they're curt, they're cold, they're demanding, they're bitchy. And of course, this is a generalization, right? It's not everybody that's wealthy, but generally speaking, and they think that they are entitled to have this cocky attitude everywhere they go because they have money. And so I associate luxury goods with that kind of attitude. So I feel the same way. If I had the dough, whatever, $100 billion or something retarded, maybe then I wouldn't care. 100 billion is a lot. Then you don't even care if you're feeding them overpriced, if you're buying overpriced shit. Maybe if I had whatever, 10 million, something like that, liquid. I got 10 million in the bank. I'm not going to go buy $1 million or even a half million. Well, maybe I'd buy a $500,000 audio system. Let's say if I had 20 million in the bank, I'm not going to buy a $1 million audio system. There's no way I'd do it. I just don't think it's worth it, period. Regardless, it's just not worth it. But for people that have billions of dollars, then it's probably a trip. They probably get off on overpaying. And I have the sneaking suspicion that that is a thing with the uber wealthy, is that they get off on overpaying for shit. It's like a flex to other people, like, haha, I overpaid and I can afford it. It's again one of those weird, showy things that happens in these circles of wealthy people that is just, to me, it's such a turnoff. But and yeah, despite them, of course, man, you can do a killer system for less, and that would sound great. And that's what I'm here for, is to offer the alternative. ETA and setting up your Fisher and Fisher 30 days. 2 musical, yeah, rolled off. What's the word? The original Craig Thunderbird. What's the price? 50 twice. What's the action? Satisfaction. What about Xavian speakers? Never heard of them. Thoughts on headphone hi-fi? I don't like it. I have an audio rig. There's no reason I would use a headphone unless I couldn't have an audio rig. That's the only time I would use headphones, is if I had no other choice. And I do have another choice. I have an audio rig which sounds exponentially better than any headphone ever will. The experience is much greater. Who wants the music just hitting your ears? I want the music hitting my skin surface. So no way. Headphone hi-fi is out for me unless I had no other choice. I built a lot of tube buffers for friends. Yeah, they seem to like them. Were they for guitars or were they for audio? I get the PCBs from a guy in Greece. Cool, man. Are they for hi-fi? Mikey, do dealers have to buy their inventory upfront, or do distributors get paid when the gear sells? It's up for grabs. It's different with everybody. I buy my inventory up front. And the reason I do that is so that I have it and I don't contact the distributor and the distributor says we're sold out. You have to wait. I hold my shit so that you guys get like Playback Designs is always sold out. I inventory Playback Designs. I don't even put it up for sale or advertise it anywhere. So when my people call me and they want a Playback Designs, I can deliver it immediately. No other dealer can, because they don't do that. So I put my money where my mouth is. I've saved and I put my money into inventory. I don't buy, $2 million homes. I don't buy airplanes or yachts or any of that other shit. I don't have kids that I have to put through school and, all that shit. Panazi, yo. Hola. What's up, man? Am I going to sell Avant-Garde? I don't know yet. I've got my Tad Evos, brand new in the box, wood grain, direct from Japan from 19,000. I'd never pay 35,000. They're asking, but they are incredible. Well, if you are in the United States, if you have a warranty claim, you will be shit out of luck. They will not honor your warranty. Hope you know that. You have, and if it's worth it for you to save the money, you have what's called black market audio. And you will get zero support. They will ignore you. The U.S. distributor will tell you to get lost and call the Japanese dealer that you bought it from. Totally frowned on. What you're doing is you are supporting the black market, which is like supporting not quite the mafia, but it's almost like that. If people like the guys in Japan keep selling the way they're doing, and guys like you, keep saying I'll never pay retail, and so forth, Tad will die eventually, and you won't have speakers to buy. Well, maybe Tad won't, because if Tad can sell to their Japanese dealers, and then their Japanese dealers can keep them afloat, then maybe they don't die. But it will make them dead in the U.S. market. It'll kill the U.S. market. So what you've done is highly frowned upon, and you will get zero warranty. Fake price. What is price? Is price value? I don't think so. What are you, the fucking Riddler? I mean, be more direct, because I don't understand. What is price? Is price value? I don't think so. So let's talk, man. Stop talking in like questions like this. I can't understand what you mean. So please explain yourself, and I'm happy to address what you want to talk about. But when you do it like this, I'm just like, it's like a riddle. I have to try and guess what the hell you're talking about. What is price? I mean, what are we talking about? Philosophy? You want to philosophize about what price is? I don't know how to, the context in which you're saying that. So hopefully you understand that and you can give it to me in a real manner. The last show was good. This gets going. Yeah, man, it's good. I like to shoot off the hip because I can interface with you guys, and it's more interactive and it's more real and it's more actual. You know, the other stuff is a put on. Even though I'm being my normal self and I'm giving my normal message, you know, it's a show. It's showtime. That's why I say Mikey's show, because I'm doing a show. You know, and if you look at some of the other guys, it's an act. Like they're acting, and you're paying for a complete act, and somebody that gets paid. I looked at, what was that guy's name, Steve Huff, you know, the other day, and he's got like 4 people that are paying him for his videos. It's like, how can you trust anything this dude says? He's getting paid to yap his mouth, you know. But people eat it up. It's really whacked out. It's like a whole herd of cows chewing their cud like in a daze, and then you can just show them something fancy, bright lights or something, and then they're all just like, oh, in the zone, you know, and you can slaughter them. You know, it's like, you know, very few people are aware to really what's going on with YouTube and social media and the algorithm and AI and all that shit. Probably half of the magazine stuff is not even written by humans anymore. You know, and here we go. We're off and running. It's only going to get worse. So the best I can do for you guys is do shit off the cuff that robots and things, I guess they could do things off the cuff, but you know, just to be natural and just be me and just, you know, fuck it, do what I want. 60-watt tube is the same as 60-watt solid state. Okay, here we go. Tube clips more gracefully and can generally be driven to max. Solid state does not and needs headroom, so you can't use the full 60 watts. Okay, there we go. Huge markup has nothing to do with value. Okay, so again, I don't know. You're not like, that's not a complete thought. This is not a complete thought. It's not a complete idea. I'm not picking up. Huge markup. Yes, $200,000 speakers have retarded markup. That's a fake price that's done so that the dealer can discount to you, the buyer, 30%. And on a $200,000 thing, they give you whatever, 70 grand off, and you do an impulse purchase. You bring out your checkbook and you write a check for 146 grand, and then you take it in the butt for 60 grand when you try and sell them back to the dude. You know, when you realize they don't have enough base for you, or you don't like them or whatever. So, you know, again, I don't know what you're trying to say. So please describe and speak your thoughts more completely. So I'm feeling that you have something that you want to discuss, but you're making it hard for me to discuss it with you because I don't know where you're coming from or what context you're using. So please be more concise with what your idea and what you want to talk about, and I can address it properly. Right now, I'm just winging it, guessing what you're talking about. I like the Lampy of a mate of mine, but it's my music taste, I guess. Sure, many people like them. Many people like them. Tubes can sound great. I like tube amps. I like tubes in my preamp if I'm going to use a preamp, and I like tubes in my amps, but I don't like tubes in my DAC. But if you have solid state in other places and you need to tame the shit out, maybe tubes can work good in your DAC. Lampesator is a pure mod company. Well, they've kind of graduated beyond that, but they started as a pure mod company. And now they've graduated into a component company, and they've been very successful at it. I'm really happy for Lucas because he's been fabulously successful. It's really great to see a company do well like that because you don't see that all that often. It's really not the common denominator. Unedited video versus chat stream. You are marking yourself down. Unedited video versus chat stream. You are marking yourself down. Unedited video versus, see, again, like, what are you even, is English your first language? Like, I again, I've got Got no idea what the fuck you're saying. Are you planning to put out content introducing the AA 100 amp anytime soon? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've got the content already. Oh yeah, man, I haven't put it up yet, or did I just not make it live? I made the video, and so yeah, I go inside it, I talk about it, I compare it. I did it when I had. Did you see the comparison between the? You did between the Norma amp and the A100. It's out. I think I showed it. I did a comparison between the AA100 versus the $10,000 Norma from Italy, and we compared them. Also, what about Stenheim? Great sounding speakers. Really good stuff. Anytime I've heard Stenheim, I've been very pleased. It's good sounding stuff. Tribe, sorry it's late here. Greets from Cape Town. Cool, man. Greetings. What Abbas DAX? There seems to be some talk about those. Those are those things that are total DIY, one-off. No two are ever the same. Like, that's Tweaksville. If you want to go into Tweaksville and get something that is totally uses unobtainium parts that the guy has, that he's had for 50 years, that are sitting, it doesn't mean they don't work. It just means you'll never get a replacement for it. It's certain people are attracted to complete one-off pieces where there is no other one like it in the world. And I think the Abbas DAX are like that. I think they're point-to-point wired, all sorts of weird shit. I looked in one. I'm not comfortable with that kind of thing. They can be cool, but you're really, I'm more comfortable with more developed designs that are like on boards that are surface mount technology, not point to point. Anything point to point, those little legs on the resistors and all that, they all have an impedance. So there would be no two Abbas DAX exactly the same, because the little legs, when he makes the solder joints, they're going to be different lengths between unit to unit. The only way you get perfect consistency and no impedance possibility from the legs of the resistors and capacitors is to have surface mount. And the best stuff that I've heard has been more modern technology. But they're kind of cool. They're cool from a certain standpoint. They're cool in the way that a vintage car is cool. Would you ever want to own it? No. But is it cool to look at? Absolutely. Do you give it mad respect? Yeah, totally. Old cars, old motorcycles, they're like death traps. Are they cool? They're totally cool. Would I ride one? No way, man. I like the modern ones. Same with my cars. I like the modern cars, man. My new Volvo is like just the smoothest ride. All these sensors on it, cameras, things that automatically drive for me, that you're hooked up to. It's just so much of a better interface, but are old cars cool? Yeah, certainly. Any good 300B set amps with slam and dynamics? You just have to get speakers. The 300B, to have slam and dynamics out of a 300B, you need an efficient speaker. So yes, if you get a 300B amp that has big transformers and you put it with high efficiency speakers, you're going to get slam and dynamic. It's still going to be liquidy, because tubes are liquid. They don't, and a single-ended triode doesn't quite have the same slam that, unless you get into the 845 or the big transmitters like I do with NAT, the 300Bs are not as much slam as, look, I can get you a pair of monoblock with GM 70s, which have far more slam than 300B, for like 12 grand per pair, for monos with huge transformers, 20-pound transformers. I'm a pure set lover, but find 300B a bit pricey when there are other circuits that sound great. Yeah, they are pricey. 300B is kind of the poster boy for single-ended triodes, so it gets overpriced. Mikey, what do you think of a 300B preamp? No. Bottlehead and someone else I can't think of now. No, I'm not going to use that 300B as a preamp. It might be cool. I think Manly does one. I mean, they probably could sound good, I'm sure, but I mean, I prefer the smaller tubes, CCAs, 5881s, 60. I can't even remember the numbers, dude. It's been so long since I've tube rolled. I don't have them in here anymore, but dude, I got a closet full of tubes. VAC or audio research in terms of value? I don't think either one. I think both of those guys have hit the stratosphere. But audio research for sure in terms of audio research has a small amp that's pretty cool. Difference in sonic between GM70 tubes and 300B tubes. More slam and dynamic, man. A GM70 is like 35 or 40 watts. A 300B is 8 watts. 300B is older, not less modern technology. GM70 the GM70 is the evolution of the 805, 811, 845, then GM70. It's the same basic transmitter tube, right? And it is GM70 is a kick-ass tube. Steven, brother, what's up? Nick, bro, I had a family loss, but here with Mikey. Oh man, sorry to hear, brother. Stevan, so sorry. You want to talk after this? If not, it's cool. Mikey, what's the take on top end Audio Note UK DAX? They sound good, man. I mean, Audio Note sounds good to me. I've never really heard it not sound good. They get it. They like the same kind of sound that I like, which is musical. And what time? I need to see what time it is. I can't run too late. 11 o'clock. I got to get going because I got an hour to do some shit before the clock changes. That's I have today that I have to do it by, so I have an hour. Talk about procrastinating. Mikey, you were talking about the tribe having big plans for the future. That sounds exciting. You better believe it. It's going to be global too. So wherever you are, you will be part of it if you want to be. I'm wanting something old school and affordable, kind of lost in what I'm looking for. Yeah, I know it can be confusing. You know, old school and affordable. The shit. You've got like a million options. Mikey, do you think GANFETS is hype over substance? In one way, yes. In another way, no. Okay, and I'll explain what I mean. GANFET, from a specification standpoint and from an electronics design standpoint in creating electronics, is very exciting. It's a breakthrough device. It is unparalleled performance. So they are all that, especially with battery chargers and EVs. They and just in certain, mainly commercial sectors, it's huge. For us in hi-fi, I think it's overhyped. They're great, but they're not the end of the world. You know, it's just using the latest technology for audio. It's cool, great. You know, does it equivocate to better sound? Maybe. You know, it's better measurement, that's for sure. But what does that mean? You know, it depends on the circuit. Excuse me, guys. I got to run. Nick, tomorrow. Good. Just happy to see you here. Mikey is healing. Is the healing this eve? Good, man. Glad I can be part of that, brother. I saw the short video on the Chinese tube amp. It was a good setup and sounded pretty decent if you know how to set things up. Yeah, I mean, look, you get a tube and a horn and it's not that hard to set up, you know. They're you know, and so, and yeah, $3,500 for the pair, I think was a pretty good price from Alltech Lansing. Nick, we know Mikey does not speak shit. Yeah, I don't. I'm pretty straight and a little rough around the edges, I gotta say. It's all banks, man. They lend us money we don't have and that we cannot pay back. I don't take any loans. Sometimes easier. Oh, you're talking about like the US dollar being getting like a fiat currency from the Fed. Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about credit cards and shit like that? Than it is to get. Oh, you're talking about when I said take a loan for the speakers or whatever, than it is to get a good healthcare loan. Pretty crazy. Yeah. Well, hey, I guess if it's 0%, you know, financing, but I know they take a hit on it. In order for them to give you 0% financing, they're still paying something out of that. They're paying a fee to bring that to you. So I see it as a desperate way to rope in buyers. You know, my buyers don't ask for credit, you know, and I sell every day. So people don't necessarily need it. If they want something, they they have the money for it. And I don't think you should buy it if you don't have the money for it. Here on luxury goods. Yeah, buddy. Yep, been to Miami a few times on tours and it sucked. The entitlement of some people is disgusting. Everything costs way too much. Yeah, I mean, we had two juices and a croissant, and the croissant was a plain one, right? And then two bottled, maybe like 12-ounce, those kind of square tall bottles. Um, and it was $30. It was $12.99 for each juice because they were fresh squeezed or whatever, cold pressed, but they weren't fresh squeezed in that place. They were brought in, cold pressed, whatever. And the croissant was maybe $6 or something like that. So it was $30. I just felt like such a tool, So what do? I tip her 20%. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. When in Rome, you know. We went into a glasses store to get some glasses. We actually wanted contacts so we could go scuba diving because we both wear glasses. We went to a place. Can you give us an exam and contacts so we can go scuba diving? Yeah, they could do it. It was $250 each, so $500 to get us set up. And we went in there and we walked out with glasses and everything. Turned out to be like $3,500 for all the glasses and all this shit. But it was good stuff. I mean, kind of like you just say fuck it, I guess, at some point, and then but when that's kind of like things, we needed glasses. Like, these are old, my prescription has changed, and it just so happened, you buy good glasses these days and the frames are $500 or $600, and then you pay $1,000 for glasses. But and we did notice there were there's a hack in Miami. Like there's ways to eat reasonably, there's ways to go to the beach and have a blast on low funds. There's a full way to hack the algorithm, if you will. But we went out to a couple of hoity-toity restaurants for dinner, and that's where you see the scene. That's where you see the old people, the Got Rocks crew, and you just observe. All you got to do is observe for a little bit, and you just sort of get it. And then you just observe, and there's just, it's just to each his own. But I would not want to be in that strata. It would not be my comfort zone. I don't like that. So I wouldn't even like it there. If I was like living in the Hamptons and uber wealthy and driving a Ferrari and whatever, all that shit, I wouldn't like to hang in those circles. It's just not my juice, man. It's not my vibe, not my jam. I heard X Vian Meh. Okay, I don't even know what it is. I use HeadFi, got it sorted. SansDAC, that is right. Hey, Mikey, buenos dias. What's your thoughts on fiber optic converter to galvanic? Isolate the audiophile network switch. It's a great idea. And it's not galvanic isolation, I don't think, when it's fiber optic. Galvanic has to do with isolating wire, as far as I understand. The fiber optics are as far as I know, you don't need to isolate it further. If you just use fiber optic, you're isolating it by nature of that it's light. It's called gray market. That's right. I call it gray market. That's exactly what I was talking about. Support your own country, folks. Get legit and get support. Do you recommend audio shows for potential buyers? Yes, I do. People always say the rooms are too bad for critical listening. It's true, but you should go just to experience it, man. Do it. I mean, there's no reason not to. There's reasons for us not to do it when we're exhibiting, but not for you as an end user. There's no reason not to go to a show. Get some buddies and go and have fun. Hey, Mikey, what are your thoughts on the Mola Mola Tambaki? Overhyped. I think it's a little bit sharp sounding. I just don't think it's that great. I beat it out. The Playback Designs beats it out, but it should beat it out. It costs more. I would like to compare it to the $5,000 audio analog that I have and see how it holds up. So if anybody has one and they want to send it, do it. Andy, what's up, man? Steve Huff talks audio rag speak. He loves everything that's hot and current. And then he doesn't use it. He said the same thing. Oh, I love the Daniel Hertz and it's so great. It's like, well, did you buy it? Okay, if you didn't buy it, then your words don't mean shit. It's not that great if you didn't buy it. It only means something if they buy it. Is TAD not owned by Pioneer? Yes, it is. I think they're pretty solid on the market still. Yes, they are. Would Fisher and Fisher ever make a center channel for home theater? If I ordered 25 of them, sure, they'd make me what I want. Steve Huff loves everything and has a new best whatever every week. Doesn't have a lot of credibility to me. Hello. That's what I'm saying. But what does he have? Like 150,000 followers? So he's doing something right. How do you know it's my second language? I am a huge proponent. Anyways, this is Dr. Vinyl. Thanks for joining us. If you guys want records, arms, turntables, whatever, go to Dr. Vinyl. I'm a huge proponent of attending concerts. Absolutely, man. Live music makes me appreciate my system even more, for sure. How often do you experience live music? Is it a reference point? I almost well, I shouldn't say every weekend. Probably better to say 2 times a month. That's about fair. 2 times a month. Panda Z, we know why we love this space. Old school, like MySpace, Tribe. Yeah, baby. Hello, Mikey. I'm an Italian Jeff Rowland enthusiast. Have you any info about his amp, top of the line? Seems 825 and 925 have no substitute. Thanks. I follow you. Appreciate your attitude. Thanks, Stefano. The top of the line right now is 555. It is not on the website yet. Call up and ask them why. They need people to bug them. I've already asked too many times. Poster boy for set is amazing way to describe them. Yeah, totally, man. It is. It's poster child. 300B. Were you a fan of Infinity and or Genesis speakers back in the day? Genesis, Infinity, not so much, just because I didn't really have any experience with them, but Genesis for sure. Bye. See you, Jose. Shit, we love this show. Right on. Mikey, double the headroom, double the head space, getting lost in the music. Yes. GM50 mellow tone kit sounds fantastic. GU50. Okay, cool. Anyone using Bitcoin for audio? I have no idea. Approximately 10 watts. There are global changes now with the Fed and XRP, but methinks there could be parity in Web3. Thanks, Mikey. Later, guys. Later, Nick. Night. Why is less rarely on the used market? I don't know. Maybe people love it. Good night, Tribe. Good night. Steven, just get in touch when you want to talk, brother. Tom Clark, I'm going to bed. Please give a shout out to my dog, Ted, who was 5 years old and had to be put down 2 days due to cancer. Yeah, let's all give a moment of silence for Tommy's dog, Ted, who was 5 years old. Man, that's too young, brother, and had to be put down 2 days ago due to cancer. He looked like he was a Mastiff from what I could see. Beautiful doggy, so sad, so hard, man. He was too young. I'm so sorry, Tom. We'll all keep him in our hearts tonight. On Wikipedia, it says galvanic isolation can be achieved with the transformer. Exactly. Opto isolator. Okay, so that is capacitor, Hall effect, relay. So opto isolator is something where you convert wire to opto and isolate it. None of these. Okay. Galvanic isolation is not applicable to fiber optic. An opto isolator is not fiber optic. That's something else as far as I understand it. I bought the Sublime Acoustics K2 off your suggestion. Been happy. I have an SPL crossover as well, and honestly I like it better, yet not a wide margin more. So thanks, Patrick. Maybe an electrical engineer could explain this to us mortals. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Chroma speakers? Thanks. I've never heard of them. Mikey, thanks for saying my surname, your last name correctly. No problem. Pansy. Does karaoke at a dive bar count as a live concert? Yeah, for sure it does, especially if she's got, I'm not going to go any further. Aloha from the Big Island. Aloha, brada. How are you, man? Hang loose. Steve Huff's videos are entertaining, but his listening room is wall-to-wall glass windows. Yeah, how can you take that serious? It's not a listening room. Are you still on for Wednesday? Yes, I am, Kemper. Thanks, man. I'll see you then. Merci beaucoup. All right, brother. Merci to you. Sorry for your loss, Tom Clark. Yes, we are. Nick, I'll holler. Oakland says, play that shit loud. Sup, tribe? What's up? OB. Man, I saw some funny ass shit. It was in Miami, but this guy was in the hood and he was feeding all these crackhead drunk, you know, derelicts, century egg and then hot chip. And it's just freaking hilarious. I mean, it's kind of sad because he's taking advantage of these guys, giving them $20, and of course they want to take 20 and go buy a Dub rock and huff it down. But they eat some disgusting ass shit. If you know what century eggs are, they're those black eggs that are fermented, like nasty ass eggs, duck eggs that are black and green inside and taste like moldy cheese. And from what I hear, and so it's so funny to watch these people eat it, and they're holding back they're ready to barf and they're holding it back. It's just it's crazy for $20. Have you used Alba speaker isolator? Any pointers? No, I have not. What would be a good upgrade on DAC from my RME? What would be a good upgrade? A new OnTech DAC 07 for $2,500. What's up, Oakland from Oslo, Norway? Nice. Are you going to continue to use the brass resonator in the new room? Absolutely. 1,000-year egg. Yeah, it's, well, they call it century egg. So it's 100 years, but I don't think it's 100 years. I think they're just calling it that. It's a fermented ass duck egg. It looks disgusting, bro. What's your favorite subwoofer setup? No subwoofer. What is your take on Redland speakers? How do they compare with other single drivers? They're good. I like them. Oh my God, I saw those 100-year eggs in China. I know, they're nasty, bro. Peace, Norway, from Oakland, from Oaktown. All right, guys, I got to run. We got a break in the action, so I'm going to take off. I may surprise you with some live streams. Just keep your eyes out because I may surprise you when I feel like doing a live stream. If I feel like making a video, I'm just going to do it this way instead of sitting down and doing the edit and all that bullshit. We'll let Steve Huff do that. All right, you guys, take care. See ya.